Well, let's take you through what exactly happened yesterday night. When this part of the world was sleeping, it was the United States that decided to carry out this dangerous maneuver in Afghanistan in Nangarhar, where we've seen the deployment of the biggest non-nuclear bomb by the United States. This is the area where a weapon, which is MOAB, also called the mother of all bombs in popular language. It's a 10,000 kg bomb that was dropped in this area to target the ISIS operatives in the area in the tunnels that they're operating under. And it's the ISIS tunnel on Afghan border that's been targeted in this strike. It's a radius of 300 meters where one could see the damage that was contained here. But at the same time, the voices coming from the United States have called it a very, very successful mission, but not so much by the former Afghanistan President Hamid Karzai, who said that it is also a treachery by the United States that's been exposed because in the name of terror, it's an inhuman act on Afghanistan's territory. Take a listen first to the voices coming in.
Really another successful job. We're very, very proud of our military. What I do is I authorize my military. We have the greatest military in the world, and they've done a job as usual. So we have given them total authorization, and that's what they're doing. And
that ISIS fighters used to move around freely, making it easier for them to target U.S. military advisors and Afghan forces in the area. The United States takes the fight against ISIS very seriously, and in order to defeat the group, we must deny them operational space, which we did. The United States took all precautions necessary to prevent civilian casualties and collateral damage as a result of the operation.
This morning, we're getting you the biggest global voices on India today. A comprehensive analysis of what the Trump-era policy means. We have Puneet Ahluwalia, who's a supporter of the Republican Party, joining us. Also, we have Anant, who's joining us from Beijing. Kaswar joining us from Islamabad. Also, Lavina, who will be joining us from London. Let's first go across to Puneet Ahluwalia, who's joining us from the United States. Mr. Ahluwalia, first, take us through, is this going to be the Trump-era policy? What is the U.S. president trying to show with flexing his muscle? Is the peace which has been rendered across the globe going to be threatened with this very move?
First, thank you for having me, and good morning to India. I think it is very clear what President Trump has done is kept his campaign promise. It is basically peace through strength. And he sent a very clear message to all the actors who were taking America's foreign policy for kind of mixed for the last 8 years under President Obama. He sent a very clear message that whatever we have said, we will implement it effectively and will decide, as he said, that we'll go after ISIS and all the bad actors who have become a nuisance factor for the world peace and the world stability. So whoever those adversaries are, it's a very clear message to them.
Also, there is criticism coming in that perhaps this decision is a diversionary tactic with the imbroglio that Donald Trump is facing in the run-up to his elections, the possible collusion with Russia as well. And these reports are doing in the U.S. media. So is it part of a diversionary tactic?
It's a fake news. As you can very well know, President Trump is very decisive. He's a strong leader. He's a leader with a clear plan, and he has the support of the middle America, the people who voted for him, and one of the people who was on his advisory committee. I'm delighted that finally we're taking action against ISIS and terrorist groups and countries who support them, that we will not tolerate any more nonsense. And if we need to use anything in our arsenal, we will.
At what cost
Yes.
this war against ISIS will be waged by the United States under Donald Trump? And I want you to listen to, first up, Hamid Karzai, former Afghan president, how he has reacted to bombing in Afghanistan in the Afpak region. Take a listen.
Weighs more than 21,000 pounds and carries close to 10 tons of H6 explosives.
Let's take you through the Twitter response of Afghanistan's former president Hamid Karzai, who has said, and I quote, "This is not war on terror, but the inhuman and most brutal misuse of our country as testing ground of new and dangerous weapon. It's upon Afghans to stop the U.S." Now, when you hear these reactions that are coming in from Afghanistan's former president, he's categorically criticized the move, saying that there is a brutal misuse of our country for a testing ground of new weapons. Your response?
lost American lives in Afghanistan for peace in Afghanistan, and whatever is now to achieve a stability in that region, President Trump is going to take care of that. And whatever President Karzai says and should have done, which he didn't do, which is quite unfortunate, we have a new era, a new time, and let's find peace and let's kill and eradicate, as he said, let's eradicate people who bring terror on democracies and peace-loving people. And that is for people of Afghanistan and India, and perhaps our neighbor who should now recognize what they need to do.
No, but is this also going to be part of a U-turn policy that we've seen in Donald Trump's era? Because he's been criticized for his flip-flops in Syria, on NATO as well. Will this be, once again, U.S. meddling in Afghanistan and then in retrospect will regret it?
No, I doubt there'll be, please, if you see our experienced general, people who are advising, leading the team, and also what President Trump has said, we find the relevancy of our allies, including NATO. So he's looking at the value of making a strong coalition. At the same time, even Assad, we were given a chance to find a way to have peace with Assad, but if he chooses to throw gas bombs and kill innocent children and people, we will take action. We have set the stage very clearly again that U.S. is going to lead, is going to be one of the biggest proponents of peace and peace through strength.
All right, Punita Ahluwalia, thanks for joining us. Let me take Kaswar Kalra and also Anand, who's joining us from Beijing. Also, Lavina joining us, getting you a 360-degree perspective of what we saw unfold yesterday of the United States bombing Afghanistan with the biggest non-nuke. Now, before we go to Kaswar, let's take a listen in to what Hamid Mir had said. It's an interesting revelation. Let's play that out.
As far as my understanding is concerned, this is not the first attack in the Nangarhar province of Pakistan by the Americans. In last 2 months, the Americans targeted the hideouts of ISIS, the training camps of ISIS, many times, at least 9 times in last 2 months. And in one of their drone attacks in Nangarhar province recently, some of the Pakistani militants were also killed because they were also part of the ISIS. And Pakistan Army also started a campaign few weeks back. They used artillery fire to target their hideouts across the border, but you understand that the range of the artillery fire is not very long. So then the Pakistani government requested the Americans and also the Afghan government recently to launch some joint operations. I'm not in a position to say that this bombing was done on the request of Pakistani government, but indirectly Pakistan is the ultimate beneficiary.
Let me go across to Kaswar on this one now. Kaswar, Hamid Mir making an interesting revelation here. Lavina joining us as well from London. Kaswar, Hamid Mir making an interesting revelation here that Pakistan had asked the United States to target the ISIS hideouts. Now, how is Pakistan reacting to US bombing of Afghanistan at our Pak border?
Well, Devina, you have rightly pointed out, and I have listened to Hamid Mir revelation as well. But let me tell you that Pakistan has not come up with any official the version regarding this U.S. bombing in Nangarhar province. But what I can tell you, according to my sources, Pakistan was in the loop. As Hamid Mir had rightly pointed out, Pakistan was in the loop, and it was a coordination between the Pakistan intelligence agencies, Afghanistan, and United States when it's come to the U.S. bombing by the mother of all bombs in Nangarhar province. As you rightly pointed, last night we stated this point as well, that the Pakistani side has been in touch with Afghanistan and the United States to target the hideouts of ISIS. As you know, there has been a series of bombing attacks and series of terrorist attacks in Pakistan by the ISIS. So the Pakistan's military have been already launching operation to target the hideouts of ISIS, not only in Pakistan, but also across the border in Afghanistan as well. So definitely, with limited sources at hand, Pakistan military could not do very well when it comes to target ISIS hideouts. So that is why they were in connection with the United States and Afghanistan military officials as well. And according to my sources, official sources within Pakistan military and Pakistani government as well, there was coordination between the three countries when it comes to bombing ISIS hideout in Nangarhar province with a mabdar of all point, all bombs, and Pakistan was the ultimate beneficiary of this bombing as well.
But well, this will going to have a repercussion with the South Asia politics being rattled. We have Anant also is joining us from Beijing. Now, Anant, we'd seen that how Donald Trump had a 10 minutes meeting with Xi Jinping, and that's going to shape the US-China relationship ahead. In that meeting, he had also tried to bargain chip with North Korea, saying Beijing can take care of North Korea. But does this equation change now with the bombing of Afghanistan so close home?
Well, that's right, Devina. There's no doubt that China and others as well, including Russia, felt that something had to be done, given the resurgence of the Taliban and ISIS, and with reports saying that the Afghan government now controls maybe only 60% of the country. There's no question something had to be done. But the manner in which this this mission was carried out is probably, as you suggested as well, going to cause probably more unease than comfort in many global capitals. And the context, of course, is it comes 1 week after the airstrikes in Syria. That was something that Russia and China weren't too happy about for different reasons. Of course, the airstrikes in Syria happened when Xi Jinping was actually meeting with Donald Trump in the US. So the Chinese certainly felt that was something of an insult and that they were being undercut. But as you said, the biggest takeaway is probably what's going to happen in North Korea. Because even if this is going to be a one-off, it may deepen perceptions of the U.S. being much more open to such a kind of response to North Korea if they go ahead with their 6 nuclear tests in coming days. And that's something that's going to concern not just China, but you have to remember South Korea as well, since any U.S. missile terrorism is going to probably it'll be South Korea that bears the brunt of it.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes forward.
So unpredictable Donald Trump policy, is it going to raise the threat of another nuclear war that we're looking at after Afghan bombing? If that is because we've seen the signals coming out from North Korea, very, very alarming signals. Anant, be with me. Let me go across to Lavina as well. Very quickly, Lavina, it's interesting because was London in the know of Donald Trump's plan?
There has not been any official line that has been taken on the mother of all attacks that US president is quite proud of here in the UK. But experts inform us and report that considering UK and US are such close allies, there is every possibility that UK might have known about this attack, or at least had knowledge of this attack and possibly consented to it as well. We will see more reactions coming in as the day goes along as well. But of course, there is divided opinion. There is one sense of opinion which says, is this a man who is again indulging in some kind of attention-seeking tactics, or this is a real change in US foreign policy which could have long-standing global impact?
All right, Lavina Tandon from London, thanks for joining us. Anant Krishnan joining us from Beijing, thank you. Kasper Klasra also joining us from Islamabad. Continue taking you through the 360-degree coverage of the United States, the most aggressive policy yet, with the biggest known nuclear bomb in Afghanistan being hurled yesterday night. More repercussions and actions of that on the other side of this break.